Problem number 6, queue reconstruction by height. So let's just go through the problem statement once. Suppose you have a random list of people standing in a queue. Each person is described by a pair of integer h comma k, where h is the height of the person and k is the number of person in front of this person who have a height greater than or equal to h. So you have to notice this part, greater than or equal to h. This is important. Write an algorithm to reconstruct the queue. The constraints are such that the number of people that they are giving will be less than or equal to 1100, 1100. Okay. So there are two ways in which you can actually approach this problem. One is a brute force way, where you just run an O of n squared algorithm, and even that algorithm will get accepted. Another way is to use somewhat complex data structures like AVL tree or segment tree or Fenwick tree and those kind of stuffs. Okay. So I'll just quickly explain you what the naive algorithm will be and how you can solve this question with an O of n squared algorithm as well. But the main focus of this video is to introduce you guys with another approach which uses segment tree in order to solve this question. So let's just try to understand what they're trying to, what are they expecting in this question. So if you see this input array, which is 7, 0, 4, 4, 7, 1, and so on, you have to reconstruct or reorder the elements of this array such that in the final array, if the first number of this pair h comma k denotes the height, the second number k should be such that it denotes the number of person standing in front of this particular person who are having the height greater than or equal to this h. So let's just take some example and try to understand what are this trying to say here. So for example, if you consider this particular pair 6 comma 1 here, now how many people are there in front of this 6 who are having greater than, who are having the height greater than or equal to 6? If you see, only 7 comma 0 is there. Only this person with the height of 7 is having the height which is greater than or equal to 6. So only one person, so that is why we have this pair 6 comma 1. Okay. What about say this 5 comma 2? So how many people in front of this person with the height of 5 are there who are having the height of greater than equal to 5? If you see, 5 comma 0 is there, 7 comma 0 is there. Both of these persons are having the height which is greater than or equal to 5. So that is why we have this pair 5 comma 2 at this particular index. Okay, let's just consider another example, say 7 comma 1. Now how many people in front of this 7 are there who are having the height greater than or equal to 7? So if you consider this whole part, only this 7 comma 0 is there, which is the person who is having the height of greater than or equal to 7, which is 7 in fact. So that is why we have this pair 7 comma 1 at this particular position. Okay, so a naive algorithm would be something like this. So this is the input array that they have given us in the question. The first question that we should ask ourselves here is, how can we start processing the values that we have here? If you take a look at this h comma k pair, the height of this person, which is 4, is the minimum most among all the other persons, right? So what can I say about this value? What can I say about this person who is having a height of 4? Well, no matter what person is standing in front of this 4, that person is definitely going to have a height greater than or equal to 4, right? Why? Because since 4 is the minimum most value, then every other person will be having a height which is greater than or equal to 4. Okay, and if we already know that this 4 is supposed to be positioned at a place before which there are 4 people who are standing before this 4, so we can say that 4 is supposed to be positioned at 5th place, right? So what can we do and in what order should we proceed is what is something that we should ask ourselves. Okay, we'll be first sorting this array and we'll be processing this array in the sorted fashion, in the sorted order. So what will the sorted order be? So this is the 0th element in the sorted order. This is the first element, the second element, third, fourth, and the fifth. So whenever you have a tie, something like this, 5 comma 0 and 5 comma 2, where both persons height are equal, then you consider the second element. Since 0 is smaller than this 2, so this is what we will put first in the sorted array. Same is the case here as well. Since 7 comma 0 is a smaller tuple than 7 comma 1, so this will go first in the sorted order. So let's just, so what I'll be doing first is I'll be initializing all these places with the height of infinity. Uh, you'll get to know why am I doing that. The moment I do that, I'll just then start processing this sorted array in from the zeroth index. So first I'll consider this pair 4 comma 4. Where will this pair 4 comma 4 go? Okay. If I consider this pair 4 comma 4, the value of k is 4. That means that 4 people are standing in front of this person who is having the height of greater than or equal to 4. That means that the position of this person is going to be fifth in the array. So let's just do that. Is this person having a height which is greater than 4? Yes. So we have a count equals 1 here. Okay, moving next. Is this person having a height greater than 4? Yes. So we have count equals 2. Is this person having a height greater than 4? Yes. So count equals 3. Similarly, count equals 4. Okay. Is this person having the height greater than 4? Yes. So we have count equals 5. Okay. And this is the position where we should actually place this pair 4 comma 4. Why? Because if I say this is the pair 4 comma 4, that means that 4 people are there standing in front of this 4 who are greater than, who are having the height of greater than 4. Okay, that means that this 4 is going to be placed at fifth position, and this is what our fifth position is. So I'll just place that 4 comma 4 here. I'll just place that 4 comma 4 here. Okay, and we are done. So this is what you can do to all the elements. But remember, you have to process all these inputs in the sorted array. Okay. So another one, so I'll just do it quickly for now. Another one is this 5 comma 0, and 5 comma 0 means that 0 people are there in front of this person with height 5 who are having the height of greater than or equal to 5. That means the position of this person is going to be 1. The array. Okay. So we start, we see that this is an unfilled position, so we have a count equals 1. Why? Because this infinity is definitely greater than 5, and we should actually stop here. Why? Because for this 5 comma 0 we want the count of 1, so the count denotes the number of people standing in front of these people who are having the height of greater than or equal to 5. Okay, but when we have count equals 1, this is the position where we want to place this 5 comma 0, because since 0 people are there in front of 5 who are having the height of greater than 5, that means the 5 is going to be placed at position 1. So that's what we'll do. We'll just place this 5 at this particular position. Okay. So 5 comma 0 will go here. Next input, so 5 comma 0 is done. Next one is 5 comma 2. Again, can we place 5 comma 2 here? No. But is this height 5 greater than or equal to 5? Yes. So I'll just increment my count here. So count becomes 1. Here, yes, this particular person is having the height of greater than or equal to 5. So I'll have count equals 2 here. Here, if you notice, this person is again having height which is greater than or equal to 5, since that's infinity. So we'll have count equals 3. And this is the place where we should place 5 comma 2. Why? Because if I have to place 5 comma 2, that means that 5 will actually come at the third position, because 2 people are there already in front of this 5 who are having the height of greater than or equal to 5. So this is where I place 5 comma 2. I'll just place 5 comma 2 here, and we are done with 5 comma 2 as well. Okay. Next input in sorted order is 6 comma 1. So here, if you notice, uh, does this person count uh, in this 1? Is this person having the height of greater than or equal to 6? No. so count remains 0 here. Is this hash greater than 6? Yes, so count gets modified to 1 here. Is this hash greater than 6? No, so count remains 1. Is this height greater than 6? Yes, so count becomes 2 here. And as soon as count becomes 2, this is a position where actually I should place this 6. Why? Because 6 is having one person in front of this who are having the height greater than equal to 6. That means that 6 should be positioned at a place where count is equal to 2. So I can just place 6 comma 2 here, and I can just delete this one. Yeah, so I'll just place 6 comma 2 here. Okay, oh, sorry, 6 comma 1 here. Okay, and this 6 comma 1 is also done. Next we'll process 7 comma 0. I'll just do that quickly. Is this having height greater than 7? No, count is 0. Is this having height greater than 7? Yes, so count is 1. Then 7 comma 0 is required to be positioned at the position 1. So I'll just place 7 comma 0 here, because if 0 people are there in front of 7 who are having the height greater than equal to 7, 7 needs to be positioned at a place where count is equal to 1. We'll put 7 comma 0 here, and I'm done with that. The last input is the 7 comma 1, and we can just do that as well. Count is 0 because 5 is not a height which is greater than equal to 7. Here we'll have count equals 1. Why? Because this is the height which is greater than equal to 7. Count remains 1 here, count remains 1 here, count remains 1 here. This infinity is definitely greater than 7, so count gets 2 here. Now since count is equal to 2, this is where I should place 7 comma 1. Again, why? Because only one person should be there in front of this 7 which is having the height of greater than equal to 7. So this should actually be get positioned at the second place. So I'll just put 7 comma 1 here, and this is the answer that we obtain from this given input, and this is what the answer actually is. So this is a naive algorithm. This is an O of n squared algorithm that you can run in order to obtain the answer for this. What I'm about to show now is an algorithm which uses the data structure called segment tree, and that's how we are going to solve this question. So we'll not be solving this question in time complexity of O of n squared, but we'll be solving this question in a time complexity which is better than O of n squared. So let's just see that implementation as well. So back to the question that they've given. Instead, this time what we'll be doing is I'll be using a segment tree to solve this question, and the size, the total number of leaf nodes that are going to be in the segment tree is the total number of elements that we have here. That is 6. Okay, and what I'll be doing now is I'll be initializing all the leaf nodes of the segment tree with the value of 1. So I usually like to uh, represent the segment tree with the indices that it correspond to. So the first one is corresponding to the range 0 to 5. That's going to split into two parts, which is 0 to 2 and 3 to 5. That's again going to be split in two parts, which is 0 to 1 and 2. This is again two parts, 0 and 1. Okay, this is going to be 3 to 4, 5, and this is again going to be two parts, 3 and 4. So this just helps me in uh, understanding, in developing a better understanding of the segment tree, because I can just see the ranges as well. I'll just write these ranges in square brackets so we don't get confused with the values and the ranges. Now the next step is to actually add the leaf nodes. As you can see, there are total 6 values in the array. So we'll be adding a total of 6 leaf nodes, and all of these leaf nodes will be having a value of 1. Okay, so this is 1, 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 and this is 1. And the way the segment tree is built it is we are using the uh, range sum segment tree. So this 1 and 1, this thing will become 2. So this 2 and 1 will become 3 here. This 1 and 1 will be 2. This 2 and 1 will be 3. And this 3 and 3 will be 6. Okay, cool. Now, again, in what order should we proceed in order to uh, obtain our answer. Again, we know that the first element that we are going to put is this 4 comma 4, right? So if I'm going to put this 4 comma 4, what I need to have here is to find the fifth position in the segment tree. Now if you have a look here at the topmost root, what's the sum? The sum is 6. That means that I'm having a total of 6 positions in the segment tree. What's the sum in the left subtree? That's 3. What's the sum in the right subtree? That's 3. So I'll just, all these 1 I'll just write them here as well. If I want to put this 4 comma 4, I should be putting this 4 comma 4 at fifth position. So where is the fifth one coming in this, the ones that I've written? The first one, the second one, the third one, the fourth one, and the fifth one. So this is what we'll be trying to do in this segment tree as well. We'll be trying to go to a particular leaf node which is corresponding to the fifth one. How do we do that? So we start traversing from the topmost one. We see that there are three nodes. Uh, the sum in the left subtree is corresponding to 3. So that means there are 3 nodes in the left subtree which will be having these ones. But we are interested in finding the fifth node which is having the value of 1, right? So what I'll be doing is I'll be skipping these 3 and I'll be going down here. But since I have skipped these 3 ones, so I only need to find 5 minus 3, which is I only need to find 2 ones in the right subtree. So I'm at this particular position now, and I need to find the position of the second one in this subtree. I see that on the left subtree of this node, I already have 2 nodes which will be having 1 1, or I am already having a sum of 2. That means that I can find the one with the second position in the left subtree. So I go down here and I'm still finding the second one here. Okay, so I'm at this particular node now and I'm still finding the second one. I see that in the left subtree I'm having a single one. That means that I can skip that, I can ignore that, and I can go to the right subtree directly. And how many ones I'm left with? Before I need to find 2 ones. In the left subtree I already have 1 1. So I'm left with finding only 1 1. Okay, and I'm at this particular node now. So I'm at this particular node and the value that I'm looking for is 1. And yes, this node is in fact the leaf node, and whenever we encounter a leaf node, this is the position that we are interested in. Okay, so which index is this? So this is 0 1 2 3 4. This is the fourth index. So this 4 comma 4 will go at index number 4. This is what we are trying to say. Okay, so we'll be doing that, and this 4 comma 4 will actually go to index number 4. Sorry, this is 6 and this is 3. So this will go at index number 4. Okay, next. So in the example before, in the algorithm before, we used 5 comma 0, and then we put this 5 comma 0 at its respective place. But here's here we'll be having somewhat change. What we'll be doing here is, instead, once I've put this 4 comma 4, I know that I cannot use this place. So instead of marking it as a 1, I'll be marking it as a 0. If this is marked as 0, this will get updated and this will not be 2 anymore. This will now be 1. In fact, the whole root to leaf part will get updated. So the sum here is 1 plus 0 1. I'll just put a 1 here. The sum then becomes 2 here, and the sum then becomes 5 here. Now if I put this 5 comma 0 first, that means that I have to find the position of first one. And if you just traverse this segment tree, you can actually reach to this leaf node which is having the first one in the segment tree. Okay, but the moment I do that, so let's do that and let's try to analyze what will happen after that. Okay. So this thing will become 2. So this is going to become, sorry, this thing will become 0, and in fact the whole root to leaf path will get updated. and you'll quickly realize that we'll actually run into problems. This thing is going to become 0 the moment I put this 5 comma 0 first. This thing will be 1, this thing will be 2, and this 2 and 2 will be 4. Okay, and I would have put that on the 0th index, sorry, because this was a 0 index. So after this I will be processing this 5 comma 2, right? Now if I process this 5 comma 2, I will be actually putting this on the position of the third one, right? But here's the problem. If I put this at the position of the third one, so these are the ones left. These are the positions left. If I put this 5 comma 2 at the position of the third one, I'll be putting this 5 comma 2 here. Like this is the first one, this is the second one, and this is the third one in the segment tree. If you see the leaf nodes, this 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. That means you'll be putting this 5 comma 2 at third index. But if you see the answer, this 5 comma 2 is not at the third index. This 5 comma 2 is in fact at the second index. And the reason why this happened is because we processed this 5 comma 0 first, and we made a 0 corresponding to this 5 comma 0 place. Okay, so this is where the tricky part comes. uh, so of course you still sort all these input elements according to the value, but whenever there is a tie, you first process the element which is having the greater value of this k. This is what we'll be doing. So what will happen is I'll still make it, yep, I'll still make it like that. And instead of processing 5 comma 0 first, I'll be processing this 5 comma 2. Okay, so the moment I process this 5 comma 2, that means that I'm trying to find a position of the third one in this segment tree. And you can see that this and then this is the position of the third one in the segment tree. So how would I reach there? Of course, I have to start from the root node, and I am looking for the third one in this segment tree. Notice that this is 2, so I'm looking for the third one in the segment tree. I see that in the left subtree there are already 3 ones present. So of course I'm going to find a third one here. So I'll go from here to here looking for the third one. Okay. The moment I reach here, I realize that there are 2 ones in the left subtree, but I'm looking for the third one. So of course I can skip all these 2 ones that are there in the left subtree, and I can directly go to the right subtree. But how many ones will I be looking for in the right subtree? Since I've skipped these 2 ones, I'll be only looking for 3 minus 2, which is 1 ones. Okay. And the moment I reach this is a leaf node which is having a single one, and I'll just take this particular index and I'll say that this 5 comma 2 is finally going to be present at index number 2. So once I have that, I can then just simply write that this 5 comma 2 is going to be present at index number 2. And once I do that, I'll take this index number 2 and I'll make it 0. So this is going to be a 0 now. This is 0. This is going to be a 1. This is going to be a 2 because 2 plus 0 will give me 2. And this is going to be 4 because 2 plus 2 is going to be 4. So I just update this value with 0. This is what I do later. Okay. The next element that I need to process is this 5 comma 0. So I'll just quickly run this thing. So I guess you guys are already now familiar with what I'm doing right now. So when I take this 5 comma 0, I need to put this at a place which will be having the first one, because if there are 0 elements before this, then I'm looking for a position which is the first position where I can put this 5 comma 0. Okay, so I start from here. I'm looking for the first one. I see that there are 2 ones in the left subtree, so I go in the left subtree looking for the first one. I'm at this particular node. I realize that I'm looking for the first one and there are 2 ones in the left subtree, so I still go in the left subtree looking for the first one. Again I realize that there is one in the left subtree and I'm looking for the first one only. So then I again go to the left subtree and I encounter this leaf node. The moment I encounter this leaf node, I just put this value. So this is the index 0. So this 5 comma 0 will now be present at the index 0. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. So this 5 comma 0 will be present at index 0. and I'll be going to this index 0 and marking this index 0 as 0. Why? Because since I've already placed this 5 comma 0 at index 0, that does not correspond to a 1 anymore. So the 1 is only corresponding to the locations that I still haven't filled. Okay, the moment I do that, I'll need to update this. So this 0 plus 1 will become 1. So this 1 plus 0 will become a 1, and then this 1 plus 2 will become a 3. Okay. The root, the topmost root value actually denotes how many positions are still left in our segment tree. Okay. After this, we'll process this 6 comma 1. 6 comma 1 means I need to place this 6 at a position which is corresponding to the second one. Okay, so I'm looking for the second one. Maybe let me just use a different color for this. So I'm just looking for the second one in this particular case. I realize that there is a single one in the left subtree, but I'm looking for the second one. So I'll go in the right subtree with 2 minus 1, which is equal to 1. So I'm looking for the first one in the right subtree. I'm here with the value 1. I'm looking for the first one. I realize that there is a 1 in the left subtree, and I'm looking for the first one itself. So I'll go here, and then again I'll go here, and I'll reach at index number 3. Okay, so the moment I reach at this index number 3, that's a leaf node, and this is what the position of 6 comma 1 is going to be. Okay. I can just mark this 6 comma 1 as this 6 comma 1 will be present at the index number 3 in the final answer. And once I have placed this 6 comma 1 at index number 3, I need to make this thing as a 0. This 0 plus 0 is a 0 here again. This 0 plus 1 is going to be 1, and this 1 plus 1 is going to be 2. Okay, after this I'll not process 7 comma 0 because I've already told you the reason why. I'll be processing 7 comma 1. Okay, so when I'm processing 7 comma 1, that means that I am looking for the second position, because if one person is there in front of 7 which is having a value greater than or equal to 7, then this 7 needs to go to the second position. Okay, so I'll be putting this 7 comma 1 at a position where the second one is present, and if you see, the second one is actually present here, and we'll actually go reach to that particular leaf node when we'll be traversing the segment tree. Okay, so I'm looking for the second one. So I'll start from here. I'm looking for the second one. I realize that there is one in the left subtree. I just completely ignore that because I'm looking for the second one. And if I skipped that, so I'm left with 2 minus 1 equals 1. I'm looking for the first one in the right subtree. I am here at this particular place looking for the first one. I realize that there are 0 1s in the left subtree. So I completely skip those 0 1s, and I'll go here. The moment I reach here, I realize that this is a leaf node corresponding to index number 5. That means that this 7 comma 1 will actually be present at index number 5. So I just use that information, and I'll update this 7 comma 1 to be present at index number 5. I'll update this to be a 0. I'll update this to be a 0, and I'll update this to be a 1. The last element 7 comma 0, of course if it's a 0, then I need to place that at the position 1. So I need to find the first one in the segment tree. You can start from here, and you will realize that you just go all sorry you just go all the way down to this particular index, which is index number 1. Okay, and that's what you do. So if you realize that you are at index number 1, so sorry you'll just put this 7 comma 0 at index number 1, and that's it. We are done. So we'll be just updating this as 0, this is 0, this is 0, and this is 0, and that's it. We are done. Okay, so the final answer is going to be this 5 comma 0 is going to be present at index number 0. Okay? So we'll be having this 5 comma 0, then we'll be having this 7 comma 0, then we'll be having this 5 comma 2, then we'll be having this 6 comma 1, then 4 comma 4, and then 7 comma 1. So this is what the answer that we have obtained, 575647. This is what the answer also is, 575647. Okay, so next thing is we'll just quickly see how do you implement this particular algorithm. using segment tree. So this is not supposed to be a complete segment tree tutorial. I tried to cover as many things as possible, so that even if you are not very much comfortable with segment tree, this can be useful for you, and at least you'll be able to catch up with what's happening here. How am I using segment tree in order to solve this question? If you want me to make a separate tutorial on segment tree or Fenwick tree or those kind of data structures, I can make that. There are already several tutorials online on YouTube or several other websites as well. I would really recommend you to go through them, and those tutorials are really very useful. Okay, next we'll be seeing how can we implement this algorithm to solve this question. So what I've done here is I've already marked the important steps for you. So whenever you are, you can actually just pause the video here, and if you want to develop a good coding skill also, so you can just see these steps. This will help you to write the segment tree code. Okay. What I've already done is I've used the three functions: build segment tree, query, and update, because these are the main functions that are required in segment tree. So let's just start with the by declaring the segment tree first. Okay. So since they've told that at max we can have these many people, so the segment tree that we need to declare is 4 times that m. So I've just taken m as 1111 to be on a safer side, like something which is greater than this 1100, and I just declare my segment tree to be of size 4 times m. Okay. That's what you usually do. Okay. Now, what is the build segment tree logic? Uh, so the way I'm building segment tree is I'm passing this index, which is going to be the index of the segment tree, and I'm passing this lr and r as well, which is going to be the left index and the right index of the range corresponding to which this particular node of the segment tree is. The base case is if L double equals R, that means I have reached the leaf node. If I have reached the leaf node, then I need to make that particular index of segment tree as 1, and I just return from the build segment tree function. Okay. Step 2 is build seg tree recursively for the left subtree. So before that, I actually need to calculate the mid. So mid is going to be L plus R by 2. And what I do is I'll just do this. I'll just call the build segment tree with the index 2 times index, which is the index for the left child of a particular node in a segment tree, L comma mid, and build segment tree comma of 2 comma index plus 1, and the range for the right subtree is from mid plus 1 to R. So that's what I'm gonna do. Once I've recursively built the left subtree and the right subtree of the segment tree, I'll be just since this is a sum segment tree, so I just need to apply that logic. So I'll just accumulate the sum in the current index from its both of the leaf node, which is the left, both of its children, which is the left children and the right children. So sec tree of index is going to be sec tree of x plus. So on this particular line, we just add the values from both the left node, which is this, and the right node. Okay. So this is what our build segment tree function is. So what is going to be the query function? So before doing that, let's just try to write the update function, because that's an easier one, right? So here what I'm doing is the index is corresponding to the index of the segment tree node. This L and R is again same as what we have used in the build segment tree, which is corresponding to the range of the current node, and this position is corresponding to the position which I need to make it as 0. So if you remember for this example, whenever I went to a leaf node, then I made the value at that leaf node 0, right? So this is what we'll be doing in the update function. So we'll be taking this position and we'll be making that position as 0, and whenever that happens, that's always the case of a leaf node, right? So that's our base case, that if L is equal to R, so then this is the case of the leaf node, and we just do sec tree of index is equal to 0, and we just return from here. Okay, so we just made that value 0 and we just return. Now we recurse on the left or the right subtree based on whatever position we have, but before that we need to actually calculate mid again. So that's L plus R by 2. So I need to take the decision whether I need to go to the left subtree or I need to go to the right subtree. Of course, the left subtree is corresponding to the range L to mid, and the right subtree is corresponding to the range mid plus 1 to R. Okay. Mid plus 1 to R. So if this position is something which falls in this range, which is L to mid, I'll just recurse on the left subtree, or else I'll just recurse on the right subtree. Okay, so this is what I'll do. If position is less than equal to mid, so I'll just go on the left subtree. Else I'll just update this on the right subtree. So whenever I say I go on the left subtree, that means I'll just call the update for the left subtree, and the arguments are going to be 2 times index, because this is what the index of the left children is, and the range is from L to mid. So I'll just do that. uh, on this part I'll just do 2 times index plus 1, because that's what the index of the right subtree is. Mid plus 1 to R, and the position. Okay, just I don't like to use the braces when I'm just using single line, so I just remove the braces. And we are done with the step 2 as well. Oops. Sorry, my bad. Okay, step 3. Once we have done the update part, based on the decision whether this position is corresponding to the left subtree or the right subtree, we again need to update the current node. This is the reason, like, suppose if we had a 1 here, and then if I'm making it a 0, then I need to update the node which is the parent node of this. Like, this is basic segment tree uh, style thing. So you just do sec tree of index equals, like the same thing that we had in this build segment tree function. You can just use it here. Use a sec tree of index equals sec tree of 2 into index, which is the left node, plus sec tree of 2 times index plus 1, which is the right node. So this is what you can do next. Okay. Next, what we'll be doing is we'll be trying to write our reconstruct queue function. Okay, so the first step is to actually sort this array that they have given, people dot begin, people dot end. But we need to do some custom sorting, because we saw the logic that this 5 comma 2 should actually be positioned before this 5 comma 0, because that's what we want. Okay, so the logic here is, the first value, we want the smaller value to go before the larger values. But if in case there is a tie, like this thing 5 comma 0 5 comma 2, or this thing 7 comma 0 7 comma 1, we want the element which is having the higher second value to go first in our sorted order. Okay, so that's what we'll write in our compare function. So the compare function is going to be something like this: if a of 0 is not equal to b of 0, that means that both of these are distinct, right? So I can just simply do return a of 0 less than b of 0. Okay, but if in case that's not the thing, like if a of 0 is equal to b of 0, so I just return a of 1 is greater than b of 1, because that's what we want. We want that if in case the first value is equal, I want the one which is having the higher second value to go first in the sorted order. Okay, so this is how I can just write my compare function, and I can just call this sort on uh, the people array using this compare function. Okay, so the next task is to actually build our segment tree. So we just call that build segment tree. Before that, let's just calculate n, which is people dot size. Okay. And let's also initialize our answer vector array as well, which is of size n. Okay, time to build the segment tree. So just remember, the arguments that we are sending to segment tree is first the index. So this is one based indexing, because we are having 2 into index as the left child and 2 into index plus 1 as the right child. So this happens when you have one based indexing for the segment tree. Okay. So build segment tree 1 comma L comma R, because the L and R are the range of the indices. So the range of the indices are of course from 0 to n minus 1. So that's why we are just building the segment tree from 0 to n minus 1. Okay, so once we have this sorted array, Once we have the answer array in which we'll be storing all our answers, uh, what next we'll be doing is we'll just iterate on this sorted array. So we just iterate on the entries like 4 comma 4, then 5 comma 2, then 5 comma 0, and so on. And we'll be taking each of these entries and we'll be calculating the position at which each of these entries should go, which is this second value plus 1. Okay, because for this 4 comma 4, this 4 comma 4 should go to the fifth position, like the position corresponding to the fifth one in the segment tree. This 5 comma 0 should go to a position corresponding to the first one, of course, before after I've inserted this 5 comma 2. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay. I'll be just iterating on this sorted people array, and uh, remember that the zeroth element is the value, and first the element at the first index is what the k is. So k is v of 1. I'll just do k plus 1 because that's what the position is going to be. Okay, and I'll just calculate the position. So let's assume that this query function actually returns an index, the index at which this particular value should be present. So that's what I'll be getting from the query function. 1 comma 0 comma n minus 1 comma this position. Once I have this index, what do I need to do is I need to put this element v at this corresponding index in my answer array. So that's what I'll do. Answer of index is going to be v. That's it. Once I've done that, the next thing is, so once I've put this 4 comma 4, or once I've put this 5 comma 2, or once I've put this 5 comma 0, or any element, I need to make that particular index as 0. And that's what we do with the update thing. So that's what the step 4 is, to update the segment tree to ignore the current position for later calculations. I'll just update the segment tree, 0 comma n minus 1 for this particular position. So for this particular index that I've obtained, I'll just update my segment tree to have a 0 at that particular index. Okay. Now we are left with implementing this query function, and yeah, step 4 is just return the answer. So whatever answer we have built, we just return that. Okay. Now we are left with the query function, which is in fact the most complicated part of the whole implementation. Not much complicated, but comparatively more complicated than the rest of the part. Okay, so the base case is when we reach the leaf node. What do we do when we reach the leaf node? So this is, so suppose if I'm querying the segment tree and if I've reached this leaf node, the value that I need to return from here is the index. Why? Because I'm always looking for the index. Where should this pair go, or where should this pair go? Like this 5 comma 2 should go to index number 2, or this 7 comma 0 should go to index number 1. This is what the case is, right? So I'm always returning the index. And what is the index? It's the L or the R, because this is what the L and R gives me the range of the indices, and if both of them are equal, that means that it is the leaf node, and I'll just return the index from my query function. Okay. Next thing is to actually calculate the number of elements in the left subtree. Why? Because we were always taking the decision how many elements are there in the left subtree, and based on that we were either going to the left subtree or the right subtree. We'll just do that. I'll just say L child, or let's just do L index equals 2 into index. That's the index of the left child. Okay. And let's have L weight equals sec tree of L child. So what I'm doing here is I've just stored this index of the left child in the variable L child, and I've calculated, I'm storing the weight of the segment tree of the left child in the variable LWT, and based on whether this val, so step 3 is to decide which size to recurse, whether to the left subtree or the right subtree, based on the number of elements in the left subtree that we have. Okay, so if this val is less than equal to L weight, okay, then I can just, so this means that I'm looking for, say, first one or the second one or the third one, and the weight of the left subtree is already greater than or equal to 3. So in that particular case, I can directly find my answer from the left subtree, right? I don't need to worry about the right subtree. So I can just directly find my answer from the left subtree. I'll just go to L child L. Okay, I need to calculate mid as well. I'll just calculate mid as L plus R by 2. uh, if value is less than equal to the left weight, because this is what we were doing here, right? Like for example, if this is 3, this is 3, and I'm looking for second one. So I realize that since this is a 3 and I'm looking for the second one, so of course I just need to directly go to the left subtree, and I don't need to actually care about the right subtree. Okay, so this is the case where value is less than equal to left weight. I just directly query on the left subtree, and I just return whatever I obtain from the query. Okay, I need to pass this well as well. Okay, but if that is not the case, that means that I'm completely ignoring the left part. So for example, if I'm at this particular index, and if I'm say looking for fourth one, maybe just use a different, yeah, I'm looking for the fourth one, and this is having a weight of 3, and this is having a weight of 3. If this thing is having a weight of 3, and I'm looking for a fourth one, it makes no sense to actually look in the left subtree, right? Because I'll be only finding 3 ones in the left subtree. So that's why I need to go in the right subtree. But how many ones I'm looking for now? 4 minus 3. So 4 minus 3 is 1, which is, this is the val and this is the left weight. So val minus left weight is the number of ones that I need to find in the uh, right subtree. So I'll just query on the right subtree. So the index of the right subtree can be calculated like this: L child plus 1. Uh, the range of the right child is from mid plus 1 to R, and the number of ones that I'm left with is val minus L weight. Why? Because I've completely ignored all the ones that were there in the left subtree. Okay. With this, I guess our segmentary implementation should be done. Yeah, just in that. Let's just try to run this thing. Okay, 505. Okay, let's just try to submit this thing. So I already got that executed, but that was before. Okay, city test cases. So if no, return. So let's just try to submit it now. And as you can see, accepted. So yeah, it makes me really very happy. Like even though I have solved this question before, still when I see this accepted, it makes me happy. So if you have any doubt, any suggestion, any comments, do let me know in the comment section. If you want me to make tutorial on anything else, do let me know that as well. And thanks for watching. I hope this video is useful for you guys. Thank you.